guys, it's September 1, 2013. Well, I'm glad I came across this video, which is on ARC Stop the Crime channel. Subscribe. This is from stopthecrime.net website. But on Stop the Crime, I came across this leaked document. And the video that I'm going to play as much as I can, because it's 22 minutes long, but I only have a 15-minute limit, so I will play as much as as my limit will allow. But you're free to just click on the link below and watch the full thing, and not get interrupted, because I can't film the full thing. But I want everybody to watch at least the first couple of minutes, because it shows how many symptoms are related to this electromagnetic smog we're living in 24/7. And many of the symptoms I experience, I know a lot of the symptoms a lot of you are experiencing, but I hope you watch the full video. We are absolutely under attack with these frequencies. There is no reason why they're so high. They don't need to be as high as they are in this country. Many countries have limited the frequencies, and they set them at levels that are conducive to people still being able to function, but not here in the United States. Anyway, I hope you're all having a nice weekend, and I hope you all watch this full video. Thanks.
Okay, we'd like to introduce Barry Trower. We've had Barry on the show before, and Barry is an independent scientist and expert witness regarding Wi-Fi technology and microwave warfare. Now, we sent over Barry a document from Deborah Tavares regarding new technology that the American government are releasing. So we asked Barry to have a look at this technology. We ourselves didn't know much about it. We're not that advanced in that technology, and as this is more Barry's background, we've asked Barry to have a look at this and get his opinion on it. Good evening, Barry. How are you doing?
Hello, sir. Thank you very much for calling me.
No problem at all. Thanks for doing this, Barry. Deborah was on our show a couple of weeks ago, and she sent us over the information, this document, and she's concerned about this technology that was on I believe on the White House government website. And so we printed out a copy and we sent it over to you to have a look at. Obviously, you had the chance to have a look at it. Can you tell me what you think, what your first impressions of the information?
I'm going to upset a few people, sir, by telling the truth here. It was written by US scientists, and the title of the document is to spur economic growth. In fact, they say here, will increase investment dollars. Now, I'm going to take you back to 1976, when this level of radiation was known by the United States research scientists to cause up to 4,500 different illnesses in human beings, depending on stage of growth and state of health. And it was also corroborated by the United Nations. And in 1976, this level of radiation was marked, basically the documents concerning the ill health effects from it were marked top secret, and the United States scientists sent a report out to the rest of the world, mainly Western governments at that time, and to paraphrase their sentence, what it actually says is that governments must lie to the general populations, otherwise they will realize the ill effects caused by this level of radiation, and it will have a massive impact on industrial profit, and of course avoid lawsuits. So what they did is they decided to keep everything secret and lie to the people over the dangers of this level of radiation. And in fact, they're still doing what they set out to do in 1976, when all this was marked secret, whereby, by their own writing, they say it will spur economic growth and increase industrial profit. So they are still maintaining that this is safe against their own research, and this entire episode, this entire industry, is to make money on the ill health of the populations.
That's incredible. I mean, that really ties into the whole pharmaceutical side of things, where you have to get tablets, and obviously, you know, alternative medicines. They actually, the likes of the cannabis oil and various other treatments that can be used for cancer, they won't let people use them, or they make things illegal, or they take them off the market because they want to sell the drugs.
Well, you're absolutely correct here, sir, because when I looked at this economic growth and will increase profit, you're actually talking, I would think, of about 1/100% of the country will become immensely rich from this new technology, but most of the rest of the population, certainly a half of the children exposed, will become quite sick, in fact very sick, and some of them will die. And of course all of that requires medicines and time off work, and the rest of the population will actually become poorer, whilst you have just these very few, and the people in power here, becoming super rich. So you're absolutely correct, sir.
Well, the one thing that Deborah has regarding her document, it does say on the document, is this technology safe? It's meant to spur economic growth, but will it do that?
No, sir. As I said, it is certainly not safe, and in fact, I know you're going to come to it later, but a paper which is free of charge I am publishing later this week. If I'm using the best US scientists' data and the English scientists and the World Health Organization's data, we know that at this particular frequency, on these wavelengths that they're using, 57.7% of pregnant women will suffer miscarriages, stillbirths, or genetically mutated children. So it's certainly not safe, sir, and these are their figures, not mine.
That's scary information, Barry. Very scary information, especially next generation. If the actual technology affects our genes, and that's passed on through generations, then we are going to have major issues in the next generation and the generation after that.
Oh, absolutely, sir, absolutely. And it's already started showing. I gave a lecture not too long ago at Brighton University, and one of the professors there, he actually said that this phenomenon now is already showing itself in other mammalian species. And again, in Ireland, over there, I presented my paper, which is coming up. I mentioned my paper, or I referenced my paper to the Irish Doctors Association, who are recognised worldwide for being incredibly clever. So, I mean, this was discussed fully. So it is known, it is recognised, and the technology is not being challenged. It can't be challenged because it's actually there on the scientific peer-reviewed documents that the US government and the World Health Organization actually say is going to happen. What we're doing here is we are making a massive profit for a few people on the backs of suffering of the populations, as you say, in the next 2, 3, 4 generations.
It is very scary. Now, obviously, we're going to talk about, is Wi-Fi safe? I mean, what Deborah's document has, but generally we talk about Wi-Fi, and it's linked to Wi-Fi, so, I mean, is it safe? I mean, I think we're pretty sure we can pretty much say that it's not.
No, sir. Wi-Fi is particularly dangerous to children, and it is particularly dangerous to pregnant women. And there are several papers published on the frequencies to do with Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi enabled frequencies, as this is. The first is that it can induce the autoimmune system of the brain to go into action, which can actually cause Graves' disease, or which is a neurological state which is detrimental to children. The other pulse frequencies related to microwave radiation are feelings where you cannot relax, feeling of being unhappy, and it can, if you're super sensitive to it, it can cause problems with anger and manic behavior, and even problems with movement and loss of appetite, things like that. And these are published. These are well-published frequencies, or pulse frequencies, modulation frequencies, that parents are already reporting from children in schools with Wi-Fi.
It's something that I try to address in my local school, my son's school. Barry tried to educate the and mention it in the parents' meeting regarding the dangers of Wi-Fi. But you know, you just get that kind of blank look, and you kind of they just don't seem to understand, because the government has been approved by government.
Well, actually, they're wrong. It's not been approved by government. In fact, the European Parliament, and I've referenced this, and you'll have it next week, the European Parliament actually wrote ban Wi-Fi from schools. For legal reasons, it had to be changed to a wired system is preferred, but the meaning is the same, and many of the world's leading scientists, in professors in many countries, have said why Wi-Fi must not be allowed near children. And the problem we have with schools is twofold. The first is that when Ofsted, and this again isn't from me, it is from a professor. I gave a lecture at a university, and a professor said, I'll tell you what the problem is, Barry. She said, when the inspectors come into schools, the government inspectors, they have to tick boxes, like Ofsted, they tick boxes, and schools are terrified of not having that sentence that says, this is a technically advanced developing school with excellence and all that. Now, if you don't have Wi-Fi and all of these interactive things that you can touch, you don't get ticks in boxes. And this is one of the things that schools are afraid of. And the other thing, of course, is the legality of whoever signs the paper, and it's usually the chair of governors or the principal, because Wi-Fi actually has no safety certificate, and there is no insurance. So what they're now facing, and why they're afraid of it, and why they refer back to the government, is because they can face super lawsuits over the injuries to children. And I know two. One where the signatory of a document is being sued for £5.2 million, and the other where 18 families are suing. And, you know, when it comes to children, and you will probably find the insurance companies, on the advice of Lloyd's about 13 years ago, put a little exclusion clause in, you will find if there is no insurance, then it is your house, your land, your car that people are going to go for. And so, you know, they're in the catch-22, and they've painted themselves into a corner.
It's incredible what they're coming out. I mean, obviously we've heard of Agenda 21, which has been rolled out in so many countries now. The one thing that Deborah was talking about regarding the technology that you come across from the White House website is the fact that they want to use Wi-Fi as a mesh network, and have this mesh network right across. and then you can track and trace everything with this mesh network. Is that something that you've come across?